everyone, and welcome to a new episode of Parentally Unfiltered. Today we're talking about C-sections. Why do so many women struggle to talk about them? And how can we change the way we think about and treat C-section births? To explore these questions, my guest today is Sanya Tuharea. Sanya is an entrepreneur and community builder, originally from the south of the Netherlands and now living in Amsterdam with her husband and their 2 children. After the birth of her daughter, Sanya created the Keizersnede Club, or in English the C-section Club, a community dedicated to supporting women before and after a C-section. In this episode, we talk about her own birth experiences, recovery after a C-section, the emotions many women carry, and why every birth deserves to be recognized, respected, and celebrated. Hi, Sanya. Welcome, and thank you so much for being here. Could you start by telling us a little bit about yourself, who you are, where you come from, and what you do?
Thank you, Carol, for inviting me for today. I'm very happy to see you because we planned it already for a long time, so I'm very happy to see you. And my name is Sanya Tuharea, and I'm from Amsterdam. I live here already for 15 years, but originally from the south of Holland. And I live with my 2 kids and my husband, Serginio, and my kids are Apache and Inui. And also a very special day today for me because my daughter's turned 6. And after her birth, actually after like a couple of days after I gave birth to her, I just start to think like, okay, I need to make something, a platform, a company for women who have or had a C-section. So this week is always quite emotional, but I'm excited and special because this is all the week that everything has started then where I am now actually at this point. So I'm very happy. I'm the owner of the Keizersnede Club. And the Keizersnede Club started from a community, like a platform to share positive birth stories about C-section. Because my 2 kids born by C-section, and I just found out that there was no space for mothers who had or have a C-section. So I was a little bit afraid that I turned in like a not kind of postpartum depression, but I thought like, okay, I don't want to have that negative feelings that what I had for my first son. So I thought, why is there not a place that we can just share our positive experience, but also experience that could help to have a better recovery after a C-section. So I think I start month after Inui born, so 16 January, my first post.
Oh, wow.
But to be honest, like in this week, I was starting to create and thinking about the name, the platform, like, with my husband together, like different kind of first weeks of after giving birth. Yeah, so that's really nice. And every year again, like now also with her birthday, she just changed my life also, but our lives also in a good way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. So first, gefeliciteerd, as you say in Dutch,
Yeah.
for her
Thank
birthday.
you very much. Dankjewel.
Congratulations. That's such a beautiful coincidence that we are recording this today. We're coming full circle.
Yeah. Yes.
But thank you so much for introducing yourself, and I cannot wait to hear more about your story and what drove you to create the Keizersnede Club. More into details. The Keizersnede, my pronunciation in Dutch is terrible. It means a C-section, and I think maybe we can start with what is a C-section and when do women usually get one, or why do they need one?
A C-section, better called to say cesarean C-section, is a surgical procedure where the baby is delivered to incisions made in the mother's belly or abdomen rather than the vaginal birth. So this procedure is actually typical if you get medical complications. That means that there is no way actually to give the vaginal birth. And especially here in Holland, we always have a C-section for medical reasons. Because here in Holland, it's like around about 70% of the mothers who gave birth through C-sections from 200,000 women who give birth a year. And the numbers are a little bit lower compared to other countries.
Yes.
Because here is really for the medical reasons. And here is not like in some countries like 50% or 40%, or you can choose for a C-section. Here is really like is for medical reasons.
Yes. Yeah, so that's actually what I wanted to say. 17% is
Yeah.
not so much. Eh?
No, compared to like in
yeah,
Turkey or in America.
absolutely.
But here it's really like when it's absolutely necessary for
Okay.
safety for mother or baby.
Okay, so you cannot go to your gynecologist or your midwife and
No.
say, I want a C-section.
No, not here in Holland.
it's
Not
not
the
done.
procedure for.
Yeah.
No, it's really like if there are like medical reasons or during birth, or maybe they already know it in France, but it's always with medical reasons. Yes.
And like you said, it's an abdominal surgery. It's
Yeah.
a major surgery.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
major surgery. Yeah. Every time still until today, if I think about it, it's like really like a big operation.
Yes. I think it's important to really emphasize this aspect that it's a surgery.
No, it's a big surgery. Yeah.
It's a big surgery that you have to recover from.
Yeah.
And that comes also with some risks. But so you told us, and that's the interesting part of the story, your own story, the birth of your 2 children.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that, about your childbirth experiences.
But my son was my firstborn, and it was already like 8 years ago. And it was very interesting because when I prepared myself on giving birth, to be honest, I just prepared myself to the start of the birth.
Yes.
And not even doing the birth or after. I was preparing the start only. I was reading things online and I went to the midwife. That's it, actually. I didn't follow a course or something. Actually, I didn't read or prepare myself on a C-section birth. So when my birth was starting, it was on the day before my due date. It was starting. And I thought, I think 4 or 6 weeks before, the midwife told me already, like, okay, I think your baby is too big. So they asked me like to do the induction, and I told the midwife like, no, I don't want, because for some reason I had a trust that my baby wasn't that big, and I was 4 kilo when I born. So I thought if my mother can do that, I can also do that.
Yes.
That was my only argument, and so I just want to try for vaginal birth, and we did. And I went to the birth hotel in Amsterdam West, and I thought like, okay, if this is it, that would be very nice. And then at the end, after 12 hours, I think, I was studying at home. Then we went to the birth hotel. It took so long time, and then they say like, okay, we need to do something now because it's not moving so fast. So then I went to the hospital, and then for some reason I couldn't relax. I was stressed up in the hospital, and the midwife just also continues told to me like, okay, giving birth is painful. Every woman can do that. And I thought, oh my God. And she repeated like 5-10 times or something.
Wow.
And I was already like 14 hours away, on the way, and it was for me hard to relax. And then I was constantly stressed about the contractions. And she tried like everything what she had with her tools to make sure that I can have a vaginal birth. But actually after 24 hours, I was still stressing, and she keeps saying the same things.
24 hours, that's really
Yeah,
long.
and it was quite long. And then the GP came and she said like, okay, I think we need to go over to the C-section. What do you think? I said like, yeah, let's do that. If this is the best option, let's go for that. But the thing was, I thought like, okay, a C-section, and now, because I didn't read about it. Nobody told me about it. When I went to the surgery room, I was already like pushing, so it was really like stressful also. The last couple of minutes was really tough. But at the end, when I went in the surgery room, I was really happy that my baby was going to be born in like a couple of minutes. So it was an unplanned C-section. And I was very happy he was healthy. Everything went well with me and with him. So it was really nice. But then I was stuck actually like for an hour or maybe longer in the surgery room. And my husband was already away with my son. And everyone was in the hospital or also away. So it was for me really like, okay, and now I was lying there alone. And I was thinking also about the way that I give birth. So what my midwife just keeps saying to me. And actually those things were really like traumatic for me, because I was for a very long time alone in a surgery room. And then I think around an hour or maybe half hour, I don't know, I cannot really remember it anymore. But then somebody came just to close actually everything and bring me back to my husband and my son. And like for I think like for 1.5 year, I felt like feelings of emotions of sadness,
Yes.
was angry, but also I had a feeling of I lost in failure
Mm-hmm.
because I thought like why it happens to me, because why I couldn't give
Vaginal birth.
vaginal birth
Yeah.
as everyone is doing that. So it took me like 1.5 year
Mm-hmm.
to get over. And then 6 months later, I get pregnant of
Oh,
my
wow.
of my daughter. And then suddenly I thought like, okay, uh, I should be happy because actually we have like options here in Holland, right?
Mm-hmm.
At least I could go for a C-section birth.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end, I was happy, but it was a long run.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. How was the recovery after the first birth?
It was really long and painful also, but for some reason I didn't want to feel it because I think after 7 days I already was walking outside, and
Oh, wow.
I was remembering because I made the birth cards, and usually if I do the cards on the mail, it's like 5 minutes walking, but now it was at least 30 minutes walking
Oh,
because I had
wow.
really a lot of pain. But I don't know, for some reason I thought I want to do this all by myself. And that's not the only thing, but there were lots of things that I thought, let's go, I can do this. Because as I saw a lot of other mothers around me who also give birth, after a week or 2 weeks, they were okay. I'm not sure if they had a C-section,
Yes.
but for me it was like, oh, everyone
Yeah. Yeah.
already
Yeah.
can do a lot of things.
Yeah.
And to be honest, yeah, it was my first burn, so I
Yeah.
didn't know what is normal or what not, or do I need to rest a little bit. So the recovery was quite hard actually at the end because I was doing too much, and in mental, yeah, and I didn't have like, I was always a little bit like I felt like failure. I was really like angry and or quite sad about how my birth was going.
I can really understand that. And also, like, the pressure of everyone that you see around you and the thing you believe maybe people are going through,
Yeah.
but
And it's your
it's not.
first burn. You don't
Yeah,
know.
exactly. You don't know.
Yeah.
Did you have any type of support to be around you to support
No,
you?
I just talk a lot with my husband and my friends. But at that moment, I thought, like, yeah, I think this should be normal for some reason. But I took extra support actually when I get pregnant of my second one.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
How did it go the second time? What were your feelings when you found out that you were pregnant with your second?
I was very, very happy, but also excited, like, oh my God, now I got two. And also, I was really afraid to give birth.
Yes.
Because I was afraid, to be honest, I was like, for like 6 months, I feel much better. And I felt like, oh, this is having a baby, this is nice, you
Yes.
know? And I have that happy feelings because like the first 1.5 year, I didn't have that. So, and then I was like, oh my God, I'm pregnant, I'm happy. But, and the other side, I was a little bit, yeah, excited for giving birth.
Did you have plans for this birth? Did you want a C-section? Did you want to maybe
Yeah, I could
try for a
choose.
vaginal
Yeah,
birth?
that's a good question. I could choose. I could choose if I do the vaginal or a C-section birth. And so I just was talking to my midwife. I told her like, okay, I'm really excited for giving birth. I'm also afraid that I'm going to have a traumatic birth again. And so I was talking to her, and I had a lot of extra sessions also. And it also was very interesting because, like, I think in the first 12 weeks, I had some pain at my scar. And I went to the midwife in the hospital like a couple of times already, like, oh my God, I'm so afraid because I had a lot of pain. And I thought, like, if my belly is going to grow, something is going to happen with my scar.
Yes.
But they did the check with the echo, and everything was okay. So that was nice. And then the midwife told me, like, okay, I think it's good if you can go to the hospital around 25 weeks just to have like a talk with the midwife from the hospital. So you can talk about that you're a little bit afraid of birth, and maybe they can tell you more about the difference between vaginal birth and C-section birth also. So I did, and it was really nice to do because that gave me some options, and that was extra time to think about the options that I have.
Yeah.
So I did talk with the midwife in the hospital for a
Yes.
couple of times, but it was also a hard time because my father just passed away like around that period. So then it was my focus not on my birth,
can
but
imagine.
on my dad, of course. And then around, I think 30, 35 weeks, I could have more attention for giving birth again. But I went for the AMDR.
Yeah.
And I think I had like 4 or 5 sessions around 32 weeks.
Yes.
And it was really tough but really nice to do because it helps me go back to the traumatic parts of my first birth.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that? How did it work, the EMDR?
EMDR is a technique for that you really need to go back to your traumatic situation. So for me, it was during the C-section birth. It was my midwife also told me, but also how I experienced the hours later. And you need to go back, and there's like a technique with the movement, and you go back to that situation, and then you're gonna rewrite it, but with the ticks of the movement.
Okay.
So you don't feel the sadness or all the emotions going up. It's going lower by each session, actually.
Yes.
It was really tough to go
Yeah, I can imagine.
because I was like 32 weeks of pregnancy. It was really hard to do. But at the end, I think it also helped me.
When you have a first C-section, so you can choose if you want a vaginal birth or a C-section.
Yeah.
Did you make a choice?
I did. I did it because I just want to have a vaginal birth. If you don't have any medical complications,
Yes.
you can choose.
You can choose. And you have to give birth in the hospital? You can give birth at home?
No, here is in Holland is that you need to go to the hospital.
To the hospital, okay.
And so we went to the hospital also.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did it go?
It was really nice, to be honest, because this one really different because like 4 weeks before my birth, my husband just felt, and so he has something with his leg, so he couldn't really 100% support me. So I was searching for a doula, but at the end, my midwife, she became my doula, so it was really nice.
Yes.
So when my contraction was starting at home, and the funny part was I thought it was around it was in the evening, and I thought, oh, if it's in the evening, that's I think 5-6 hours. I didn't say anything to my husband because I thought like, yeah, I can say something to him, but he cannot do anything. I thought like, okay, I leave it. But this time it was really soon.
Yes.
So I called my doula, my midwife doula, and around 3 in the night, I said, okay, I will come. So we went with 3 of us to the hospital. It was very funny because we were in the hospital. I was in a wheelchair and my husband was walking with crutches. So it was so funny because I thought like, okay, who is going to carry who?
Yeah.
Or, I mean, the midwife was thinking like, okay, who needs support? But my contraction, I thought like, oh, this is the way of the contraction. It was really in a flow. So when I was in the hospital, I already had 9 centimeter.
Okay, wow.
And then I thought, wow, yeah, I had to sit like, whoa. And so I was watching to the clock.
Yes.
And I thought like, oh,
That's amazing.
that's amazing. That means in an hour I can see my baby.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so because I thought like, okay, that's amazing. So it was already an hour and I felt that the flow was different. It's getting different after an hour. So the midwife was checking it and he said like, okay, I think she just turned. And yes, she was. And then also my contraction was different and they did a lot of checks. And then the mid also asked me like, this is the moment that we need to think about a C-section. What do you think?
Okay.
And to be honest, I thought like, okay, it was already like 1 hour, I think 1.5 hour maybe. And it feels so different. And I thought like, I know I feel something in my body. It's different. And I think it's a good point that we're going to go for a C-section. And then interesting was my doula, so my midwife, keep asking me, are you sure that you want to do this? And I said like, yes. And then she asked me again. And that was really helpful for me because that moment, it felt that we made a decision with 3 of us.
Yes, I understand.
And I could consider the arguments also, like why, and are you sure? Or maybe you want to have an extra hour or whatever it needs, because it was possible. And then we decided to go for the C-section. So I had another unplanned C-section. But this time it was different also. But also I went with pushing on the surgery.
Yeah.
So it was also like, wow, it was quite intense. But at the end, everything went very well with her also. And it was really nice. And after, when I give birth, the midwife told me, like, from the hospital, it was really a good decision because there was a possibility that something can go wrong with my scar, with my previous scar.
Yeah.
So at the end, I was very happy. And also, it was really a tough C-section at the end because I had a lot of pain afterwards. So it was, at the end, the best choice.
Oh, that's nice. That's a beautiful story.
Yeah.
And I really understand, like, the fact that you made a choice kind of a conscious choice together with your care providers,
Yeah.
it really made a difference,
Yeah,
right?
it was. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was. And it was really nice because they took time this time and they know my history also. And also like my midwife, she was like, "Are you sure? Because and she's like, we have options if you want."
Oh,
But
that's
at the
awesome.
end, this was the best option.
Really nice. And then right after birth, how did it go? Were you also able to be directly with your daughter, or?
Yeah, but not directly as what you can experience now, because now you can have your baby next to you
Ah, yes, yeah.
doing the surgery. For me, it was still the same. Like my husband went with my daughter to the other room, and I think now I was in half hour or 45 minutes back to my man and my husband, and it was also different because there was someone who was standing with me, and they could just give me some information, so that was really nice. And when I came back to the room, also my midwife was there, and she was just telling me how it was also. And then, like, I think an hour later, my son came also with my friend, so it was really nice.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool. How long do you stay in the hospital after a C-section here?
I think I stayed for 4 or 5 days because they need to check my uterus again, because they were afraid that they hit my uterus, so they need to make some extra photos.
Okay.
But everything was okay. But that was also one of the reasons I had a lot of pain.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How was recovery then at
Yeah, it
home?
was very tough actually. But the nice thing is I learned, of course, from my first birth. And I thought like, okay, the first weeks, I just want to stay upstairs and I just want to go like once per day downstairs and upstairs. And that really helped me also, because the second recovery, I thought like, okay, I'm not gonna go after 5 days going
Yes.
to bring the birth cards to the mailbox,
No.
that kind of things. I was just really like relaxing, and I was open for help. But also my husband was still had still some challenges with his legs.
The best
So
time.
yeah. And it was also interesting because like I think after 4 weeks she was really sick, and then it was like, okay, who's going to the hospital? And
Oh, wow.
our car was also broken, so it was interesting, like, who's going?
Yeah.
And then I went with the taxi to the hospital,
Oh, wow.
and it was really painful, but yeah, you do that.
Yeah. Yeah, that must have been quite challenging. I
Yeah.
can imagine, because with a husband with a broken leg and
Yeah.
then a toddler and then recovering from
Yeah.
your C-section and with a newborn, it must
Yeah.
have been quite a challenge, to be
Yeah,
honest.
it was, yeah.
Yes. How are you feeling also with your body, with your scar? Did it go well, the recovery of the scar?
Yeah, the recovery went very well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it took time also. It was interesting because at that moment I was really thinking about, okay, how can I make a platform or
Yes, already.
yeah, I was really busy for my bed. And because you asking like how I was feeling with your belly and your scar, and I think like 6 months or something, I did a brand shoot for the Keizersnede Club.
Yes.
It was so hard to do
Yeah.
because my body was with a scar, and I was like, I didn't feel like whole.
Yes, I can understand.
And it took me also like a year.
I can totally relate with that, because I think I have quite a similar story than
Yeah?
yours. When I had my first boy, I didn't. I really wanted to go for a vaginal birth, and
Yeah.
then I had a C-section,
Yeah.
an unplanned C-section, and it's the same. And I think a lot of women who give birth to a C-section that they hadn't planned for
Yeah.
can have this feeling of, you mentioned it, a little bit of a failure.
Yeah.
And also to accept the scar. It's not something that you hear so much. You don't see so much at that time. I mean, it was 10 years ago. You didn't see that on social media. I mean,
No, yeah, that's different than now.
you
Yeah.
only saw flat bellies
Yeah.
and beautiful scars, and so it's really hard. And you do actually hear quite often this narrative of C-section birth not being, quote unquote, real birth. Was it a journey for you to accept and to really cherish your
Yeah.
scar?
Yeah. For me, I think also it took like 1 or 1.5 years, I think.
Yeah.
Because I with my second birth, I know like what I could do, where
Yeah.
I can go. But for me, it was like, no, I don't want someone else to touch it.
Yeah.
And I remember when I had that brand shoot, and she made like beautiful pictures from me and my daughter with the feet on my belly.
Yeah.
And she just, I think, 10 hours after the shoot, she just posted online, and I thought like, no, can you just
Yeah.
delete it? Because for me, it was like really a big deal.
Yeah.
And you didn't even see that it was me, but
Yeah.
still, it was for me like, no, don't do that. So she didn't post it. She just deleted. But yeah, for me, it also took time.
Yeah. Why do you think, this part about the scar and the C-section, why do you think this is such a sensitive topic for women?
Oh, that's really good question because I think it is here in Holland because the culture of giving birth is here really on vaginal birth.
Yes, that's true.
And what I just see and learn from the past years is if you are pregnant, the first person that you see is the midwife.
Yes.
And actually, yeah, the midwife is also like the one who just telling me about your pregnancy and all that kind of stuff. And I just found out that if the topic is about C-section, it's not the part anymore of the midwife, but it's the part of the midwife in the hospital. I can totally understand if it's really like unplanned. It's like, okay, and now, what now?
Yeah.
Because if you have like a normal pregnancy and you don't need to go to the hospital, yeah, it's going to be like a big surprise once you give birth and then during the birth they decide to get to that you have to have a C-section. Yeah, I think in your pregnancy nobody was telling you about C-section.
No.
So I think that from my perspective, from the also from the Keizersnede Club, is that it's important to talk more about C-section. What are the options? I always think like, why don't we tell it? Because it's not necessary to have like 2 consults, but at least like one. Like this is the option, and you can find the information from there. Or if you are afraid of something or you're worried about C-section, just go to the GP in the hospital and just talk about like, okay, I have some worries. What are the options and how does it go? And I think it's important that we talk about it more and also in a positive way.
Yeah, but you know what you hear also a lot these days is that, yeah, exactly what you said, that, the real birth is the vaginal birth.
Yeah.
And what you hear actually is that every birthing person is able to give birth.
Of
and
course.
and that
I
like
still
if you
believe
live
in that.
I totally
Yeah.
agree, but it lacks a little bit of nuance, doesn't it? That, yes, most of the women can give birth, but sometimes it's just also not possible.
Exactly. There are like a lot of
And
medical reasons
yes,
that C-section birth is the best way
yeah,
of giving
absolutely.
birth. So there are options that I see for my clients, like if they would try until the end of vaginal birth, I would say that could be a worst case scenario because I'm not sure if they can tell their own birth story. So for me,
Absolutely.
so for me, I think like I'm happy that here in Holland that we have those two options. I remember when I gave birth of Inui, my daughter, that I met a Balinese woman and she told me like, oh, did you give a C-section? I would love to do that because I was like 30 hours on way. It was painful and there was some medical complaints. And she told me like, I couldn't go to the hospital because I didn't have the money for it.
Oh, wow.
And here in Holland,
Yes.
everyone
Of course.
will be
Yes.
helped.
Yes. Yes. No, but we're lucky,
Yeah.
to have the choice.
Yeah.
Because in the end, it's to meet your baby.
Yeah.
So,
Of
and I
course.
think
Yeah.
that's what's most important. So let's talk about the Keizersnede Club. So yeah, like you mentioned, there is a lot to do. So what really drove you to create the club? When did the idea come up?
Yeah, the idea was actually right after the start of my daughter born. And then I thought I just want to make a platform with positive stories just to empower women. Like, because I already knew there are also positive stories. And also, like, I just want to have some good information about the recovery.
Yes.
So I think a month later, I think in January, I was starting the Instagram. And I thought, okay, I'm going to start like a community for positive stories. And then from then, I just did some workshops with a doula and orthomolecular therapist also. And we did a workshop to prepare women for a C-section birth.
Yes.
And after that, I just made an online course. And then I did helped a lot of women one-on-one or in group who had a traumatic birth.
Yes.
Yeah. And from there, I just found out that it was on the mental part challenging, but also on the physical way because they have like really like a lot of challenges around the scar. It's like sensitive feeling, numb feeling, or they didn't even know what kind of type of scar. And then I just found out, hey, you can also do other things with your scar and your belly. So I decided to get some training about like how can I just also take care of the scar. So actually on mental aspect and on the physic aspect. So I developed the C-section treatment, so I can do both now.
Oh, wow,
Yeah,
that's
and also
amazing.
for women who had a positive C-section, but
Yes.
also traumatic, everyone is actually welcome. If you have like challenging around your scar, I'm
Yes.
ready to help you.
Is this something that you felt you missed when you had your
Yeah, because
C-sections yourself? There was nothing.
the interesting was there was nothing, and I was in those weeks after birth, I was Googling,
Yeah.
and I thought like, wow, I didn't find anything on my search in Holland then.
Yeah.
So it was interesting that there was no platform or company.
So there is no tragic, like you have a C-section, like
No, not if
oh,
you have a knee
wow.
operation
Okay.
that you have like a recovery plan. No, no.
Oh, wow, that's surprising.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I understand your vision. It's been 6 years now,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
What do you now offer to mothers? Because you've expanded quite a lot, right?
Yeah,
With
yeah,
your
I expanded,
activities.
and now I'm really focusing on the C-section treatments. And the C-section treatments, I developed it by myself, and that's a unique way to give the treatment on the mental and the physical aspect. So, what I do is I take care of your belly. I do belly massage and scar healing, actually. So I do belly massage and also scar massage, and with different kind of techniques to make sure that you can heal on a proper way.
How soon can you do that?
After 6 to 8 weeks
Oh,
after giving
wow.
birth. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Nice. And so how does it work basically? So are there several treatments that you do after?
Yeah, usually you can always come for a first appointment, and you can choose like in the first appointment, the C-section treatment. It's including your birth story. So there's always time to tell about your birth story, and you can do that if you have like a positive feeling, or if not traumatic. That's the one, and the one with C-section checkup. It's only to check your belly and your scar, and then I will give you the treatment. And both of the treatments is also including intake. And I'm gonna check your scar and your belly, the condition, and I give you the treatment. And then you always go home with a lot of tips to continue at home. And then from the first appointment, I can always see like, okay, do you need more? Do you need like 3 or 6 sessions to follow up? Then we decided in the first session.
Oh.
Yeah.
And is there a community now of women who had the C-sections?
Yeah, we have a Facebook group online, and also on Instagram you can just find us, and I share there a lot of stories also from mothers who had a C-section.
And I also saw that you are teaching other professionals now
Yeah.
also the
Yeah,
treatment,
since
right?
this year, it was so beautiful. I start this year with giving training to other professionals. So also for the midwife, but also for the doulas and physiotherapists, and also for maternity nurse.
Yes.
And very nice. It's also from professionals from Holland, but also Belgium, and even in
That's awesome.
Norway. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
How does it feel for you to see your work like reach more
Yeah,
mothers?
it's
through
beautiful to see, because I always say also to the professionals, like there are a lot of women who need to have this treatment, and I can help them all by myself.
Yeah.
So I'm really happy that I can
Yeah.
share my knowledge to them.
Yeah, yeah. And I think it's so powerful that this idea comes from your own experience, experiencing 2 C-sections. How do you think society views C-section today? Do you feel like there's been progress, or there has been changes in the past 8 years?
Yeah, I think there are differences, because I remember when I just starting the Keizersnede Club, and I was going to the midwives companies to put my flyers, and I was like, no, I don't need your flyers because we don't have it here. And nowadays, midwives also come by for the C-section treatments, and I see that they put it on a website, and I got a lot of clients now from a lot of midwives or hospitals. So I think, there's already a big difference.
Yes,
And I'm
absolutely.
very happy to see that they are open for collaboration in which way.
What changes would you like to see in the way C-sections are discussed or even perceived?
I think if you see about the aftercare, I would see like there should be more knowledge about scars, more knowledge about the recovery, and that we can share the knowledge with the care providers, so from the hospital and with the Keizersnede Club, because at the end, for me, is the goal is like to see from the client perspective, what does they need, and which information can we provide them that they have a better recovery.
Yes.
So, and I would love to see in the future that we can collaborate together. And from the Keizersnede Club, that I have an institute that is a place that they have like every kind of expertise
Yes.
there for them. If it's about food or it's about pelvic therapist, acupuncturist with me. So that should be nice. That there's a place there that the mothers have a place to go
Yes. And it
because
would
they
be
deserve
so.
it.
Yes, absolutely. From your experience, what are the biggest struggles that mothers who had the C-sections go through?
Several things actually. On a mental perspective, it's like that they have a feeling of failure also, but also that they really wished for vaginal birth.
Yes.
And it's hard, like the challenging in the beginning that they cannot do a lot of things because the recovery is much slower than
Yes.
a recovery from a vaginal birth. And that they have physical complaints like redness, itchy, numb feeling about the scar. Because like numb feeling, you can always do something about it, even after like 10, 20 years. That's also still possible. But it's a little bit lack of know-how, actually.
What advice would you actually give to the mothers who are really struggling with accepting their C-section, their scar, or the mothers who feel a bit disconnected from this birth experience?
I think it's important to try to connect again with your body. What I always say, like try to put your hands on your belly, actually above your belly also, because it's the place that you give birth on your belly. It's like the birthplace of your baby. So it's always a special one that you already can carry along for your whole life. And don't forget, like the birth experience is like 1, 3, 4 in a lifetime, and not like I don't know, maybe 40 years ago it was like you gave birth to 8 kids, and now it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, the average. So it's like an unique experience, and try to feel the warmth and the love around that birthplace of your baby, and try to be open about your feelings. Try to find help because you're not the only one, and sometimes it's hard for people around you because they cannot see what your needs are. So try to communicate, try to tell your feelings to your care providers, but also to your friends and family, because everyone is ready to help to give you the best birth experience, actually.
Yes. Yes, that's
And
very
if it's
true.
not the birth experience, but also the aftercare.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's so true. And what could healthcare providers do to be better supportive of mothers who have C-sections?
I think at first care providers need to have the knowledge, because that's really important. And then already talk about it during the pregnancy. And also, if they don't know the answer, always try to find in your own network, okay, who is ready to help my clients who had experience with C-section. And always try to find in a way like how can we collaborate with other care providers.
Yes.
Yeah, that's important because we need to find the possibilities to help
Absolutely.
them. Yeah.
Yeah. Communication, collaboration. What are your hopes for your community and your business in the next few years?
What my hopes are that every mother who had or had a C-section, they have the knowledge in front of it, also the best aftercare, that they know once they had a C-section birth, what to do, what to expect, what is normal, what not, so that they have like a plan.
Yes.
ahead. Yeah.
Sanya, if there is one thing you'd like listeners to take away from your story, what would it be?
I think as a key takeaway, I think it's important to know that a C-section birth can be your best positive birth. Whenever you have a traumatic birth, it's never too late to do something to make a positive birth. Because sometimes we forget in all those hectic that giving birth is something very special. Like the moment that you are pregnant, that you get pregnant, is also special and unique once you give birth. And I always say, like, if there's something that you can have help or you need help for it to have a better experience, do try to search for that help, because it should be really helpful, because this moment is a memory for a lifetime. Like a C-section can be also your beautiful birth experience.
Yes, absolutely. That's a great thing to take away. Where can listeners find more about your community, your treatments, and the services you provide?
Yeah. The Keizersnede Club you can find on the Keizersnede.club. That's our website, and there you can also find some tips, the birth stories of for other women, and also information for professional. We also launched a book, And then we have a lot of tips about recovery also. And we have our own studio in Amsterdam, where me and my colleague help every day women who had a C-section with a C-section treatment.
Yes.
We're always ready to help you.
Oh, that's lovely. I really applaud what you are doing, what you have created. I wish I had this 10 years ago when I had my baby.
You're still welcome after 10 years.
I think I made peace now with this story.
That's beautiful.
And I think it's important, exactly like you said, like even 10 years, 20 years after, like to be able to look back on this in a positive way, because it stays with you forever. Thank you so much, Sanya.
Thank you very much.
To come here and talk about this. This was very lovely, and thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for listening. I hope this conversation brought you inspiration, comfort, or maybe simply a moment to pause and reflect. If it resonated with you, don't hesitate to share it. Take care, and I'll see you very soon.